ugliest chicks on the planet still get 1 to 2 conversations per day from a man. That's not asking for directions, and they not asking her to get something off the top shelf. You know. So at the end of the day, with 50% of the population, close to 50% of the population being women, 51.9% of the population being women, women can find a man. Now, will you find a man in the age group that you're looking for? Probably not. Will you find a man of a specific height and weight class that you're looking for? The more specifics that you add, the harder it is to find what you're looking for. A specific financial class that you're looking for, the more specifics that you add, the harder it is to find what you're looking for. But can you get yourself into a regular relationship with a dude? Of course you can. Most guy groups got at least one hot chick in it. And ironically, that hot chick usually have not smashed anybody in the squad. So that goes to show it's a thing. So if you're not feeling comfortable about who you are, what you look like, or your financial status, or whatever the case may be, work on yourself on the sidelines, but don't stop yourself from participating in the match. You know that professional athletes will get hurt and still get back out there and participate. They be trying to bypass the doctor's disapproval to get back out there and participate so that they can continue to make them stats, they can continue to make those scores, they can continue to get those trophies. Y'all need to be doing the same thing. Y'all need to get your ass back out there because really and truly, with the way society is right now, it is not safe for a man to approach a woman because a man could go to jail and lose his nutsack for that. So it is safer for the women to approach the men. And since men do not get approached nearly as much as women, each time you approach a man, you're going to be treated with more respect from him than what he would be treated by the women that he approaches because women get approached too much. So to offset that, you find you a guy reasonably good looking, carrying himself reasonably well. You can eavesdrop on his conversation and he sounds reasonably intelligent. Then you go introduce yourself, compliment him, something men never get, and then offer to show him what you got. And when I say that, I talk about that from a platonic sense because women are supposed to be valued by their skill set and their mindset, not their physical attributes. So you're not supposed to be dressing like a 304. You're supposed to be dressing like you have self-respect and self-dignity. The more modesty you can portray, the better it is for you because you don't want him to know what it looks like before he gets in there. You know what I mean? He should not see prints on the front and the back and the top and the bottom. He should be able to keep that mystery in play until he has earned the right to see that. He should not be seeing that from across the room where the shape of the print got him going over there to come and talk to you. The shape of the shadows and the cracks and the crevices got him coming over there to talk to you. That's not, and that means that he's only coming over there to talk to you for desire, lust, which means that he could give a shit about how valuable you are because he's only over there for the sex. If you stop portraying that and then portray your skill set and your mindset, the dude that's talking to you is going to be literally interested in what you're capable of. Everything else is going to happen regardless, but at least he's coming over with respect. Now, if you are carrying yourself with respect and you're approaching that guy, you're going to get the same results. You're going to be approaching the guy who should already be carrying himself with a level of self-respect that you will respect and appreciate. So when you come over and talk to him, he's going to give you the time of day and he's not going to disrespect you, or at least he's less likely to do so. Try the next one.
I have been talking to a woman daily for almost a month before meeting for the first time. She wanted to take her time. Date went well, but I didn't feel any profound connection making me want to pursue anything further. I kind of feel bad. Should I text her or should I not and hope she got the message? She has not texted either, so chances are she might also not be interested, but I have feelings she is waiting to hear from me. This is why I hate investing texting people for so long before meeting. Edit. She ended up reaching out and I let know that she was an amazing person, but that I ultimately didn't have a click. Relieved.
Okay, so I let me get to that real quick. Michael said I get approached all the time by women, but Michael is 70 years old. Women love old men. 18-year-olds love old men in their 60s and 70s. 20-year-old women love old men in their 60s and 70s. 50-year-old women love old men in their 60s and 70s. It's something about old men having their finances together and their resources intact is attractive to all women. So women are going to give Michael the time of day. Michael don't have to try because we've talked about this on the show quite a few times. A woman's value depreciates like a car. Women don't like to be compared to cars, but this is the truth. A woman's value depreciates like a car. A man's value appreciates like a house. We're trying to bring the car to the house on a regular basis, but the fact of the matter is that the newer the car, the more valuable it is to the house. The older the house, the more valuable it is to the car. So if women maintain their purity, less miles on the tread, and maintain their modesty, and less children, and more responsible cooperative behavior, then they would be more valuable, but they're also going to be more valuable between the legal age of 18 and as high as 30, 35. After that, and you're pushing it at 30, 35 because premenopausal symptoms start happening at 30. So truthfully, between 25 and 29, that's like the cutoff point. But you might be able to find one that hasn't yet started experiencing menopause and might be able to work that work for you between 30 and 35. But after that, you start really crossing into the danger zone because those women that can potentially still give birth at close to 40 could start having really complicated births, and you don't want to lose the mother of the child because the goal was to have the mother and the child. So ladies, don't think that we're male chauvinist pigs and we just don't want y'all old women and stuff like that. No, we would, but we would prefer for our genetic coding to be in the child, and we would prefer the mother to survive that particular endeavor. Now, when we start doing in vitro, we start talking about surrogates and everything like that. We can have a 50-year-old woman compatible with a 55-year-old man and go get them a surrogate and still have the child with their genetic code in it and raise the child themselves. There's ways to do it. It's just that we don't do that right now. The natural conception that we choose to fall back on here in the United States with all the technology that we've got around the world requires us to have a female that is capable of reproducing. And if she's not willing to or too old to do it, that disqualifies her for those men who are looking for that child. Now, outside of that, there is nothing different between an 18-year-old girl and a 70-year-old woman that a man would not value if she is willing to be a partner for his agenda and she's willing to aid him in his success the way he's going to aid her in her success. So outside of that child rearing situation that disqualifies a large quantity of women for men who want that, the men that simply just want a partnership and could care less about kids, they would take a woman of any age. But the older a woman gets, for men that still want to be fathers, for men that still want to build a legacy, the older those women get, the less valuable those women are. However, with Michael's case, it takes a man 3/4 of his life, and I say this all the time, to reach the level of success that he's going to get to. So it usually 45, 55, 65, especially 70, whatever success that man is going to have, he's going to have it. He's learned how not to fuck up the money. He's learned how to invest. He's learned how to save. He's learned how to generate sustainable wealth. He's got a routine now. So when a woman goes and talks to a man in his 70s or his 50s or his 60s, a man that has fixed it with his 35, 40-year-old midlife crisis and then fixed it and did his 20-year plan by 60, now he's doing it right. In those situations, uh, women been loving me all my life. Those men are going to be more attractive to women. So yeah, he says sometimes on the hiking trails, out walking the doggies, it must be my deep blues and that slight wink plus a dark tan and a smile. That does work now. That does work. Um, Good tans and blue eyes is traits that aren't common together, and that would be very appealing, especially if you have some really good, not so much Donald Trump wavy hair. They like that too. Women love me. Men fight over being me. I don't know. I ain't trying to have no man fight over me. I mean, if they want to, I'll pop some popcorn, but I'm not going to encourage it. Bro, ham. Y'all go make it do what it do. All right, let's try the next one now. Oh no, 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 no. I touched on that before I touched on the other one. I forgot what the hell the other lady said. And nasty. He said the long something else. Um, what the hell was the other person about? See, I covered your topic before I covered the other person's topic. To hold on a second, y'all.
Hate investing texting people for so long before
Oh,
meeting.
okay. I
Edit.
remember.
She ended up reaching out, and I let know that she was an amazing person, but that I ultimately didn't have a click. Relieved.
Okay, I was about to cuss him out anyway. So look, bro, why do you, if you were not interested in the woman, why do you care if she contacts you again? Your guilt about desire to ghost her is haunting you because you know that's not the right thing to do. You knew on the date that y'all were not clicking and you decided to not say anything about it. Um, if that would have been a woman doing it to a dude, all the men would be in an uproar like, oh, that's what women do, blah, 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 blah. They take you out on a date and run up all your bills and then walk off and leave you there unread. But, bro, you're doing the exact same thing. First and foremost, I'm going to tell you something. We might fall for the photo as men. We might fall for the text messages that we're listening to that are pre drafted, edited, and then submitted where they think about what they're going to say before they say it. And then we read it and then we like what we read. And then we think about what we're going to say before we say it. And then we send it and then they read it and then they like it. If you switch from text messages to video calls within the first 2 weeks of texting each other, you will either have a deep, deep connection or a deep, deep understanding that you don't like this person because the time it takes for you to send text messages back and forward over the course of a month, where a conversation can last for days, that day's worth of conversation because it took you 6 to 8 hours to respond. They had to respond the next day, and then you had to respond later that afternoon. And y'all not really texting back and forth like 100 text messages an hour. Y'all are 5 or 7 text messages a day kind of thing. And then when you went and met the person, the conversation that y'all had didn't go nowhere. If you would have went from text messages to video calls within the first 2 or 3 weeks, you would have known that based on y'all's conversations that you really, really wanted to meet her in person. Then if you're doing video calls, not audio calls, video calls, you will see her on her best day. You will see her on her worst day. You'll see her right before bed. You'll see her when she get up in the morning because when she's first trying to impress you, she's going to be wearing her best self. When she is not trying to impress you no more, she going to look at you like whatever, right? And that's when you get to see what kind of girl you're getting yourself into. If you like what you see and you like how she behaves, before y'all go on the first date, y'all not really trying to do much on a date besides, hang out because y'all been hanging out virtually. Movie nights, popcorn, y'all can play board games together, you know. And yeah, you can play virtual board games. Y'all can go to a store. It can be the same store if y'all have the same store in y'all different cities. Go buy the same board game, bring it back to your house, and then make the same moves on both sides of the board game where uh 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 y'all can play the game together virtually. And that will help y'all with doing what you got to do. But once you reach that point where you know that that's what you want, then you pay for the date. But for y'all to be texting back and forth, you fell for or was reasonably impressed by the dialogue. Man, she could have copied and pasted that shit off of Reddit somewhere. That don't necessarily have to be the real her. But when she's having a real verbal conversation with you, that's when you know what you got. Like I says, never send text messages. Well, the apps start off with text messages, so we don't really have a choice with that. Um, If you meet the person in person, then you want to go straight to phone calls. And from the phone calls, when they're busy, you would fall back on text messages when they're not able to communicate at that moment. But you want to progress the relationship too, even if they want to move slow. You want to move slow at the let's video call each other at least, once a day or 3 times a week or something like that, and try to make sure that we make visual contact with each other more often than not, in addition to the other forms of communication that we're utilizing before we get to the in person meetings. And then when we get to the in person meetings, one of the best things that you have is that you know exactly who you're looking for because you've seen them all month. You've seen them all this week. You're not looking for a photo from 5 or 10 years ago. You're looking from what you remember her looking like yesterday on the video call. So since we have that option, utilize that. Now, as it pertains to the fact that you feel relieved because she finally reached out to you so that you could tell her that you weren't interested, you asshole, because you should have just contacted her out the gate and said, "Thank you for the night. I appreciate your time. I'm not interested in further communication, or I wasn't interested in a date, or I didn't really feel the chemistry." But you also got to remember, love is not about this spark that happens at the beginning of the relationship. He said, "You making dating sound like a job." Dating is a fucking job, bro. Dating is a job. And I was just about to get into that because you have to understand when you there are some situations you have the ability to fall head over heels in love with somebody about 150 times in your lifetime, and all the rest of the times you choose to love that person. It's not just like your emotions take over, your senses just redirect, your common sense completely out of your ass, and you just start doing dumb shit. That happens about 150 times out of your lifetime. All the rest of the times you look at this girl, you think rationally, she's reasonably attractive. I wouldn't have a problem with being with her for an extended period of time. Maybe we can work something out where we can both enjoy each other's company for the remainder of our lives. That logic and rationale leads you to go over to try to find out who she is. And then when she gives you a piss poor attitude, that's when you say, you know what, this isn't going to work. And then you remove yourself from the situation. But usually you're either going over there because of the desire to procreate with this person, which is going to be the instinctual lust that you're going to have, or you're going over there because of some type of admiration that was triggered where you're emotionally invested in this person, probably because you heard them speak, the pheromones that they gave off when they passed you by, or something to that effect, where you're just hooked on that person. That love at first sight scenario does exist, but the fact is that after that first sight, you tolerate their damn ass for the rest of their life. And that tolerating is a choice. And you can't tell me that after the first 30 minutes of, or not 30 minutes, but after the first 3 months of putting up with their pet peeves and stuff that get on your damn nerves, you looking at, oh, I don't like mugging with her. Here, fill out the form. Yeah, you gotta have a dating application. And I said before that we was gonna create a dating application and we didn't do it. But yeah, you fill out the form. We need to ask all the deep dark secrets and what's your body count. We gotta ask them all the real details and really figure out what's going on. So I'll call you if I like you. Sounds like a job. It's exactly like a job. The interview phase is the first date, but see the mistake that men make is that we pay to interview our employees. Big business don't pay to interview the employees. The employees show up for free, and if they want the damn job, they'll put in effort to prove that they want that damn job. So I don't understand why we acting like we the ones that need this. We want this, but we don't need this. They need the financial stability. It's their instinctual requirement to get financial stability. So the fact that they're seeking that from us, yeah, they can get it for themselves. But when they seek a man, they don't seek a man to be a good partner. They don't seek a man to be a good helper. They don't seek a man to be loving and affection. They seek a man because of the man's financial stability and the man's resources. That's what they see. Besides that, and sex, that's like the only two things that they chase. And then men are looking for partnerships, cooperation, companionship, this, that, and the third, and sex. So So her job, her career, her skill set, her brains have nothing to do with that decision making. But a man can fall in love with a woman's intellect and a woman's can do attitude, which still makes it a choice. What's going on, Rick Shaw? Special shout out. He said, "Hey, big scary black guy, how are you?" He says, "God, I envy gay dudes." Okay, so he acting wild today. Get your own resources. Mine are occupied. Well, the truth of the matter is that men spend 41% of their income on women, regardless. So what it here's the funny part. The statistic shows that we're spending 41% of our income on women, but and it's saying that specifically this does happen during the dating phase of a relationship, but we do that for our entire lives. We pay for women when we're younger. We pay for the women when we're going on dates, and that's the first date because men go on more first dates than women do. Men pay for the second, third, fifth, eighth, 12th date. Men pay for the relationship when they're giving the women money to take care of themselves, or giving the women spending money, or paying the bills for the women, and the men are always contributing, and that means that in order for a man to be considered a man, to be identified and recognized as a masculine man, that man has to first and foremost make twice as much money than what he needs to survive. Women don't have to do that. A woman could be broke living in her mama house, and as soon as she find a man with money, she's set. The dynamic is not the same. So our resources are built up. Men are instinctually conditioned to build up enough resources to be able to start a family. We don't become millionaires. We don't strive to be successful men so that we cannot be broke. We strive to be successful men so that we're not alone. We strive to be successful men so that we can afford to create a lineage so that we can teach them everything that we know so that we can leave something behind when we pass on. We don't strive to be successful just because we can say that we were successful in our lives. So men's ultimate goal is to build a family. A woman's ultimate goal is to be cared for. Now, women are going to disagree with that, but it's true, and I don't blame them. If the dynamic were reversed, I'd be looking for a woman that's making over $100,000 a year too, because based on statistics, these women know what they're talking about. Shit, it's $250,000 for a family of four in the United States if you in certain states like California and New York. So these women make a lot of sense. That $100,000 a year for a family of three, that makes a lot of sense. We're looking at $50,000, $60,000 a year, depending on what state you're living in, for just one or two people. So when you throw an extra person in there, an extra kid that's going to cost you between $12,000 and $25,000, you're looking at almost 75 grand before the child's college education. It makes a lot of sense. I'm not saying that the women is wrong. I'm just saying that there's got to be more to the guy than his wallet. Did you ever feel rage towards women? Nah, never that. A lot of the times, so my information comes based off of statistics, not off of how I feel. So the funny thing about it is that the behavior of people, men and women alike, because I come from a position of uniformity, and because I come from a position of uniformity, um, I'm not just bashing women for the sake of bashing women. The fact is that this is true to life information. Men are not chasing women for the right reasons, and women are not chasing men for the right reasons. But instinctually, the core genetic coding is that the men's desire to reproduce have men chasing women for lustful reasons. Women carry themselves the way they carry themselves to attract more men, so they dress more lustfully so that they can attract more men. But the women are doing this so that they can get the resources out of the men because women look for financial stability. That's just common facts. And we've gone over all the statistics of this, which is one of the reasons why when me and Michael was talking earlier about him being 70 and he's getting all the women, and those of us in our 30s and 40s are starting to have trouble with finding a responsible woman. The fact is that men have their stuff together in their 70s, so women are attracted to older men because those older men are financially stable. They're not attracted to older men because they're 70, because women feel like men that are more than 5 years older than them are gross to have that man talking to her. But when women are looking for stability, you're not going to find at 24, you're not going to find a financially stable 24-year-old every day of the week. But at 24, you'll find a financially stable 70-year-old more often than you'll find a financially stable 30-year-old or a financially stable 40-year-old. So when women look for financial stability, they're looking for older men. When men are looking for compatibility, cooperation, and fertility, they're looking for under 20. And that's the reason why we have the dynamic that we have. Older women shame older men, because if the older women shame the older men for getting the younger women, then the older women will still have an option. Younger men high five each other for getting older women, but younger men are frowned upon by younger women because the younger men are still playing video games, shooting at each other at the traffic light, not amounting to anything, no drive, no ambitions, no responsibility, because they're still young and immature. They don't mature the way women mature 16, 17, 18 years old. And if they're living in a family where the girl has to be a caregiver in her childhood, they're maturing faster than that. The boys mature at 40, 35, and 40 years old after they have to fend for themselves. Mama's not there to take care of them. Dad wasn't there for a while to take care of them, whatever. They don't have anybody to fall back on financially. Now they got to get their shit together. That's when guys get their shit together, right? But girls start making the responsible decisions at 12, 13, 14 years old when they start babysitting other people's kids. So when you ask me, do I ever feel rage towards women? No, I actually say one of the reasons why I'm disappointed in the behavior of some of the women in the Western culture is because women are more effectively capable of being better than men in just about every way, with the exception of um, keeping the money in their pocket because they have poor decision making. And the fact is, it's like, here's the thing: women could keep their money in their pocket the same way men could keep their junk in their pants. But the way women waste money is the same way men would throw away their entire career so that they could sleep with a girl one time. A man would destroy his 20-year-old marriage so that he could sleep with a girl one time. A woman will take all the money out of her finances and throw it away for some type of entertainment, some type of big trip, some type of big spending, G Wagon, whatever the case may be, because the here and now is what they live for. Men build a future so that they can have something to fall back on so that they can put more people in that future. We build bunkers so that we can put people in the bunker. We don't just build bunkers for the sake of having them. We build bunkers big enough for a certain quantity of people. If you ever go down to an old dude's house, backyard, 40 acres, 100 acres of property, you go to his bunker, right? That some bitch is a 10-man deep bunker. You not gonna go to no bunker that can barely fit two people. You go into a bunker that probably got 8 rooms in it, 3 bathrooms, a shower, security system, 2,000 guns, 1,000,000 rounds of ammunition, grenades, all this other stuff going on. Like he ready to protect a small village. And guess what happens? Everybody that goes into his bunker is under his authority. So men build nations, really. But it ain't got nothing to do with being bitter about women. It's just the fact that women's priorities are different from men. Now, women have a better capability in Western culture to be successful than when men, because women are not distracted by lust, and women still have affirmative action. So there's a requirement for a certain number of women to be in every area of management, while the affirmative action laws have been abolished, where black men are not required or minority men are not required to meet a certain quota. So now, as a man, you have to get it on your merit, not on your race. Women can still get it on their merit, not on their race. Every day it gets us. So when I turn the VPN off, this is what happens. And I'm gonna have to keep the VPN off, but when I keep the VPN on, it drives it slow. So it puts us in a compromising position. Yep, you are totally right. It keeps us in a compromising position. Hold on. What? Get us in there. For some reason, there it is. I'm trying to figure out, why can't I see us? I told you what, on the dot, bro. On the dot. I gotta I've done everything except for contact the VPN and be like, hey, because I'm gonna do that tomorrow because I'm off tomorrow inadvertently and be like, "Hey man, since I downloaded this VPN, it's been kicking me off my browser when I be live streaming." He want to mush somebody in the face, but never fear. We get right back in here and make this shit work. And now we have to throw in because we were like a minute some change in when that dude was talking about some bullshit about how he is sad because this female don't want to he don't want the female, but he want the female to want to contact him so he could tell her no. That's some stupid behavior. No man should put themselves in that position where they feel like they got to put the responsibility on somebody else to tell them that you're not interested in them. If you're not interested, bro, as soon as you're not interested, check please and walk off. You said, "Where's my ads?" I don't know. I don't know. If you ain't getting the ads today, enjoy that shit. It's supposed to be throwing ads at you. So if it ain't, I don't know. Let's go ahead and see what's going on with the next
and
one.
left me devastated. I am 28, and she is 27.
Hold on. We're going to back up a couple seconds. I want to make sure that we understand what the hell got him devastated.
Relieved.
There we go.
I moved to Mumbai for my girlfriend's dreams, only to find out years later she's a lesbian, and left me devastated. I am 28, and she is 27. A lot happened in my past relationship. She told me she couldn't marry me because she didn't want to stay in our small town and wanted to settle in a big city.
Hold on. Rickshaw. Look, bro. This is the stuff we going through now. He said that he moved to a whole nother country and his woman years later don't want him because she's a lesbian. These people be lying to get out of a relationship because it don't matter if you are straight or bi or whatever. If you care about that person, you care about that person. Now that person that moved to a whole nother country to be with you supposed to make that nonsense work. She ain't want your behind. That's what happened with this dude. She ain't want him, and he moved closer to her. They might have been a fling when she was out of town, and he thought that it was gonna be something that was gonna last forever. I tell y'all, ladies, men be trying to collect cars like men try to collect women not like they collect cars, and they collect cars like Ash collect Pokemon. So the fact is that they be trying to get a woman and never let her go. And some women are not meant to be kept. And this man seemed like he had got a woman that was not meant to be kept and trying to keep her. And they say you can't turn them into a housewife, and it's true. The fact is that there's more to the story. There's a lot more to the story, but I'm just saying before we get into the ins and outs of the situation, is that you seen the signs before you flew your behind out there, but you chose to fly out there. And if she say, "Oh, she a lesbian," that's okay. My wife can have a girlfriend. I am not going to object to that. uh, because in Dubai, you can have a large quantity of them. He said, "I look like I'm a lesbian too." Shoot, I'm a lesbian too. I'm playing. We all playing for the same team. Shoot. She for the streets. But that's the conundrum that we find ourselves in because instead of just having the courage of saying, you know what, I'm looking for financial stability. I'm looking for drive. I'm looking for success, and these are traits that I don't see in you. I'm no longer interested. Thank you for your effort or whatever. Have a good day, kind of thing. Good luck with your future endeavors. The same thing that they tell you when they fire your ass. You just got to hear that shit and then walk it out. But they be coming up with bullshit. Oh, I'm gay. Oh, I'm this. Oh, I'm that. Man, you should have said that before the man moved. Is this an audible? Yeah, no, it's not an audio book. No, these are comments from fans that be saying some of the wildest stuff on the internet, and y'all just got to hear what they be saying, and then I got to tell them what I'm gonna tell them so that they can feel better about the situation that they in. But I ain't gonna lie to them because a lot of times when they be doing stupid stuff that be messing up their decision making process, and then they do stupid stuff that mess up their life. I'm sitting over here looking at them like, why the hell did you make that decision? You should not have moved to Mumbai for no chick. You should have moved that chick to your house. and then you could have stayed where you was. But if you was too broke to afford where you was staying at and you moved to Mumbai and you ain't got no job in Mumbai, she is not gonna fuck with you because no matter what country you go to, women do not want no broke man. Women do not want no unemployed man. There are countries where women will work and take care of the man, especially in matriarchal societies. But I do not believe Mumbai is one of those countries. And if she is a goal driven person and she wants to be with a goal driven person, if you move to Mumbai, you supposed to have your damn income. And if you don't got one, then you in Mumbai still ain't shit. And no matter what country you're in, if your broke ass can't afford to take care of her, look, a woman has a man that is on her level when that man can do for her what she can do for herself. So if you can't take care of her the way she is taking care of herself, she don't need your ass. That's legit. You weighing her down. She is really supposed to be the ball and chain. So if you weighing her down and she trying to soar, you fucking up as a dude. Like that's not ever supposed to happen unless you done got both your legs blown off serving our country. There is no reason for you to be weighing her down. Rick said hypothetically, if my friend were into other guys, how would he identify other another man who is also allegedly into guys? Well, the thing about it is that guys who are interested in other guys will give up. They have this ability to kind of tell when people are down for the cause, and then they also have ways that they kind of test the waters to see if other guys are down for the cause. And once they get that confirmation and once that conversation comes out, it just happens. But really and truly, it's a minefield for those guys because those guys just ask because until they ask, they don't know. And as soon as because some guys will say, yeah, they swing that way and still pretend like they don't, and that's still a thing these days. Even with all of the equal rights that are out there, it's still not widely accepted in every area of society. Again, this is my friend wondering, not me. Right. You're probably the only person that comes to the show get asking all of the most liberal, colorful LGBTQ questions and comments that I have ever had on my podcast. But everybody's welcome, so I don't mind as long as you keep them appropriate. But yeah, they do give off a vibe, Michael. They do give off a vibe. And you got some of those guys who don't give off the vibe when they're sober, but they give off that vibe when they're drunk. And when they give off that vibe when they're drunk, everybody knows they was putting on a show when they were sober. So it's just a matter of time. I ain't no liberal. I mean, any conservatives do not in any way, shape, or form approve or promote LGBTQ behavior. They don't. So liberals promote that. Liberals promote the Rainbow Coalition. Conservatives do not. So if you say that you're not liberal, then your comments should not be reflecting liberal comments. Because that is taking liberties, which is why they call it liberal. Because at one time in this country, it was illegal. You do realize that in most countries in this state that it is actually against the law to have oral and anal even in the comfort of your own home. So the next time that you either offer it or accept it from the rear, just note that they could have kicked your door in with SWAT and took y'all to jail with y'all pants down, and y'all would have been on 6 o'clock news if back in the day when those laws were enforced. Michael said, Rick, we don't care if you have a pronoun. All we want is intelligent life. We are breeding intelligent life on this podcast. That's what we're gonna do. He has to say it a lot. He loves women. I tolerate women. There now. Now let's see what else this man got to say because this man had a lot to say. I think it's like 6 minutes worth of stuff that he had to say, and um, Usually when people pour their hearts out on the internet like this, they do two things. They work out their problem, but they also explain where they fucked up in the situation. And that's where I have to kind of like point out that it ain't just the other person that you mad at. It's kind of you too, but because it takes two people to mess up a situation, but it also takes one of you to recognize that there is a problem and the other one to ignore that problem, especially if you told them. But if you didn't tell them, that's your fault too, that you didn't say something. So let's go ahead and see what the rest of what this person has to say here.
She was pursuing interior designing and named a few cities. I chose Mumbai and moved there, trying to build a business for us, and I was somewhat successful. While I was there, we kept talking, but eventually, she backed off completely, leaving me alone and devastated. Years later, I found out through her social media that she's a lesbian now. I feel disappointed and hurt by everything.
That ain't got nothing to do with why she left your ass, bro. Women are the best, especially when they talk for 20 minutes straight while making nonstop eye contact. Oh, when they putting on their makeup, doing that social media video, the whole time they putting on their makeup while they having a conversation with you, like they don't know how to blink. Okay, I find it weird that those social media videos make tons of views, not because it's specifically because like that many people are entertained by her putting on makeup. Not what she's saying, because she could be talking crap. She could just be telling a story about what happened yesterday while she putting on her makeup. But it's almost like the men watch it to be like, oh, that's how it's done. And then the women are looking at it like, oh, what products is she using? I want those. And between the two, the video go viral. All they got to do is just sit there for 20 minutes, putting on their makeup and having a conversation with the camera at the same time. Some women don't even gotta talk. They just put some music on in the background and just put their makeup on and crazy. But let a man sit here for 3 hours telling you where to put your money to make yourself $1 million in less than 10 years. I ain't viral. I told you ways on how to not to be broke no more, sitting on Section 8 and food stamps and shit. I just figured out ways for you to put your kids through college and ride that shit off on your taxes and shit, give your kids better educations and shit. I ain't going viral. But let a chick be sitting there in the camera, putting on makeup. The only videos that I remember getting more views than that were them little kids choking on them Tide Pods and setting themselves on fire in the shower, talking about some fire challenge. The stuff that we look at for entertainment just blows my mind. And then they wanted to fight China for their algorithm. For what? Chinese children look for educational stuff online. American students look for pornography and violence. The algorithm is not going to fix that. Respectfully, she would get more views if she's less yapping. You right, because actually the chicks that just stand there in the camera and smile get way more views than the ones that talk. Not because men don't like women's voices, is just because what they saying don't make no damn sense.
Especially after all the effort I put into building a future with her dreams in mind.
Mm,
This experience has changed how I feel about relationships and left me questioning a lot.
that man, that wasn't as long as I thought, but I'm gonna be real because there is one here that's got like 6 minutes worth. I can't believe he just said that, but bro, straight up moved to a new country for a chick. No, if you were gonna move to that country regardless, then you move to the country. You ladies, I'm going to tell you right now because I do this both ways. This is not a red pill, blue pill, black pill podcast. I am a male driven podcast from the male's perspective, but I am always uniform. So I'm about to tell you right now, ladies, you do not move to another country for a dude that you are not going to dedicate the next 20 years to being successful with. Fellas, you do not move to another country for a chick. If you were not planning on moving there in the first place, whether it's to retire, start up another business, whatever the case may be, you are doing that because that's what you wanted to do as a man. You are not moving to another country for the sake of her. Fuck that shit. If she was that important to you, interior design, decoration, real estate, teacher, biological science, fintech, semiconductors, whatever the fuck that was, you could have went and got her ass and brought her back to your country, and she could have lived that good life in your country, in your stomping grounds, where you could have built up business in your own backyard, and she still could have lived her best life. You have no reason to move over there for not a damn. Now, females that are alpha boss ladies, y'all ain't got no reason to stop your career in your home country to move to another country for a dude. If you at any point in time find that the dude that you are liking is worth keeping, you bring his ass to you. You already stable, you already established. You should not stop whatever it is that you built to go chasing a fucking dream. Now, if he is worth keeping again 15, 20 years, then you can transition your life to his home country. But you probably gonna have him spend 3 to 6 months in your country so that you can see what kind of shit he about. Now, if he can't afford to live that best life with you in your country, then why the fuck are you about to put your whole life on hold, set it on fire, burn it to the ground so that you can go to a new country where you got no friends, no family, probably don't speak the language, don't know where you at, don't know where you going, and you would still have to start over and pray to God that he don't beat your ass while you out there. No, no. You got to know what you're doing before you get into that. So on both sides of the fence, I say that's not smart. You don't just drop what you're doing and just now when you in one of them Captain Save 'em situations like the ones in Milena, and you like whoever's willing to take me, I'm willing to go. You ain't got nothing going for you but the bottles that you're picking up off the ground every day, then fine, go. If this is an opportunity for improvement in your life, go. But you're going because you're dedicating 15 to 20 years of your future to making whatever happens with that guy successful. If that's not your mentality, why is you going? So when this dude come talking about some she she left him, and then years later she come talking about some she a lesbian. So just because she tired of men for right now, but she still don't want to be alone, don't change the fact that women are going to have the same problems with each other that men have with women. So eventually, she's going to realize what men felt about her, and then she might change her damn attitude after her second or third girlfriend and start being more respectful for men. Because when there's two women, the female relationships are the most catastrophic and chaotic relationships that there are. The male relationships are the least catastrophic and chaotic relationships that there are. So if we understand that when there's two women there, the same complaints come from that relationship that come from a male female relationship, but the complaints that come from a male female relationship is not in a male male relationship. So when you remove the females out of the equation, the complaints stop. Once the women realize that, some of them will stop, change, improve, and start behaving different. But until then, you know, it's just a common thing that we understand. Michael said, good old puppy love. They will move to Rwanda and live happily ever after. Now, see, if he would have moved to Rwanda, he would have been making so much money in Rwanda, bro. If he would have went to Bangladesh, he would have been making so much money. If he would have went to Kazakhstan, he would have been making so much money. But he went to Mumbai. Nothing's wrong with Mumbai, but Mumbai is more expensive than Rwanda, Kazakhstan, and Bangladesh. and and the female workforce in Rwanda, Kazakhstan and Bangladesh. He should have been trying to be a stay-at-home husband. That's what he should have been. Instead of sitting over here spending all her money trying to do. He should have been a stay-at-home husband. Let her take her behind the work and bring home the bacon, and then he cook it. He could put on an apron like the retired mafia husband. He could put on an apron and cook and clean at the house and take care of stuff. That's Rick's lipstick, not mine. Go ahead now. Oh,
I just found raw footage of my husband with another woman, and we just
all right. Who got a comment on this? Who got a comment? I know y'all watching from TikTok and no, not TikTok, Twitter, X, and Twitch. Y'all sitting over here just ooh, she found him with another woman. Y'all about to get in on this. I know some of y'all sat far like, wait, what? We about to get in here real quick. I want y'all gonna have to tell me what y'all think about this one. This one here is reckless.
had a baby. I 33 female. Have been married to 36 male for about 3 years. We dated for 5 and we now have a baby. So this
That's
actually
8 years.
happened in May, but it feels like today because I just found more stuff. He was sleeping and I decided to snoop through his phone.
Before we go any further, I done already told y'all many moons ago, ladies, that if you don't want problems, do not snoop through your man phone. I don't care if he loyal or disloyal. You are officially terminating your relationship when you scroll through his phone's history to find reassurance, to find a confirmation. You are looking for a definitive problem. Now, you have to understand in the United States, huge red flags, Michael, huge red flags. In the United States, wiretapping laws prevent you from intercepting any communication that would have been otherwise considered private. His cell phone is considered private information. You cannot use text messages or emails that you stole off of his phone. You cannot use any video recordings that you stole off of his phone. If you do not get a warrant to gain access to that information, it's equivalent to a cop breaking open your trunk and stealing your drugs. They got to give it back because they didn't have a warrant. The fact is that you cannot hold your partner responsible for any information that you found unethically, the same way the police could not convict OJ for the glove they planted, regardless of whether or not he did it. If he would have did it correctly, you feel suspicious, you hire a private investigator, let them take photos and videos of him out in society and use that as your evidence. But when you are in a relationship at the moment where you're taking money out of the household and paying for a private investigator, your relationship is over. You do not need confirmation that he is honest. If you don't trust him to where you are investing in a stalker to watch your man, your relationship is dead. Two reasons why. You don't trust him enough to go pay for that. That's the first problem. When he find out about it, he gonna leave your ass. Cause don't no man want to be treated like a crook when he ain't doing nothing wrong. And if he's doing something wrong, you're not gonna want to stay with him. So in neither situation is your relationship gonna survive what she's about to tell us that she done did. I just wanted to go there before we get in deeper into this mix. And men do not go through the women's phone neither. It don't matter what you think she done did. If you think her mouth was in places it wasn't supposed to be, stop kissing the girl, bro. If you feel like she for the streets, you should not have been trying to save her, bro. If you getting stories from the hood that letting you know that she out there letting it slide, then you need to let her slide. But when you start, let me see your phone and let me get your password and let me go through your history and oh, let me just delete your social media accounts and this, that, and the third. And oh, I got to see this and GPS that and where was you and let me smell your dick and all this stuff that, bro, the relationship is dead because it's founded on trust. And if you don't trust me, you can't be around me. You don't trust me, you can't be around me. I need that Bonnie and Clyde relationship where we can lie, cheat, and steal together and not snitch on each other. And if I don't got that kind of relationship, we can't fuck with one another because, like me and Michael was talking about this, and I've been reminding y'all since we discussed it on a regular basis here in America, we commit 3 felonies a day whether accidental or on purpose. And if I don't got a person that's gonna help me cover up them felonies, then at the end of the day, I'm not trying to fuck with that person. I got to trust you not to rat me out on a lie detector. You know what I mean? And if I can't trust you to do that, I don't care who you slept with. You feel me? Because if you could cheat on me with somebody, you could take all the money out of my accounts and walk off with all of my estate. You can give birth to somebody else's dude, lie and say that that's mine, and then got me paying child support for 20 years, find out that ain't my child. We not going down them paths. Rickshaw said, Michael, don't act like you don't swing a leg over the fence and play for the other team now and then. Michael does not have to do that. These females be coming over to his house trying to rock him in his rocking chair. And some of them probably tip him afterwards, talking about some happy ending. I already know what Michael got going on because Michael very social. Michael be out there at the estate sales. So at 70 years old, he know everybody who died. He going to everybody's house buying up all this shit. And then he gonna resell it online. These females know he not broke. He's spending money every day, every week, buying shit and selling it online. That's a woman's dream to be with a man that buys shit every day. It don't even have to be meaningful shit. But he buy shit every day, every chance he get. He buying something, and then he gonna sell it and turn a profit off of it. So he can buy it, use it, enjoy it. Then when he's tired of it, he sell it, make a profit off of having it, and his lifestyle doesn't cost him no money. He's buying cars out the auction, use it for 3 months, get tired of the shit, sell it at the auction for more than what he got it for. He got a different car 4 times a year. Never get tired of the one he's in. By the time he get used to driving it, he done got rid of it and turning the profit off each one that he get. You looking at, you know, the cars are free. The most money he probably spending is to change the registration and insurance on the vehicles, unless he's dealing with dealer plates. Then you ain't even got to do that. But let's see what else this woman got to
He
say.
had videos of him and this girl he met while he was working in a hotel room doing the deed. I sent the videos to myself and reviewed them over and over. I felt so
That's a felony. That's a felony. You broke into his phone without his knowledge or consent, and you stole video footage off of his phone. That is violent. That's a federal law. A woman and her lawyer got arrested for that in the courtroom after the woman had took photos and conversations off of her husband's phone of actual infidelity and used it as evidence for the divorce. Because the wiretapping law is being heavily enforced these days, the judge got the lawyer and the woman and locked them up for violating the federal wiretapping law, stealing confidential information off of that man's phone without his knowledge or consent. And from what I understand, you have up to 5 years from the date of the actual action to take legal action against that person. So if you find out that your ex-girlfriend last year stole stuff off of your phone and used it to incriminate you for some shit, you could put her ass in jail for that. So, ladies, before y'all start trying to be slick and I got the evidence, I got the proof. Here go the text messages, here go the photos, here go videos of y'all doing the deed and making out and this, that, and the third, and you go take it off of his phone, put it on your phone, so you got the evidence to throw in his face or to show to his friends to devalue and disgrace him. As soon as he find out you got a copy of it, all he got to do is dial 911 and report your ass, and they will take you to federal prison because the evidence is on your phone. And the fact that you sent it to yourself from his phone, he's got evidence on his phone. So even if you delete it, he's got evidence on his phone that you stole the information and sent it to your phone without his knowledge or consent, because you're doing this while he's sleeping. You didn't ask him for consent. He didn't tell you, yeah, go ahead, do what you want to do. You waited till he was knocked out, and then you went there and took it. Look now, fellas, y'all got to protect yourselves now.
grossed out to see the man that acts like and claims he's so faithful. Seeing raw footage of it was the next best thing to walking in on them. I was able to contact the girl because he still had contact info in his phone. She said that he acted like he was single and she had no idea. She was genuinely upset too. I could hear her crying. But anyways, this on and off affair had begun before my pregnancy around the time I had my second miscarriage, and it went into about 6 months after our son was born. So about a
Mhm.
year and a half. Anyways, he now claims that he had a weak moment, and he's been doing everything he can to make me happy. Problem is, I am not happy. I cannot get those images out of my head. I feel grossed out when he touches me. That sinking stomach feeling that I first got when I saw the videos has stayed. Even now it's been months and I can't get over it. I would pick up and leave, but I swore to myself before our son was born that no matter what, I did not want him to have a broken home. I swore that I would eliminate anything that I had control over that could potentially harm my son's upbringing. Some days when my husband is busy and I see him less, I feel like I can do this and it's easy, but other days it's just so hard. And to think this man almost convinced me to be a psalm and quit my job. Also, guys, there were no red flags. None. He was attentive and caring and just a perfect man. So, what
Mhm.
to do?
But he still is the perfect man. See, the problem that you got is that women want to keep men all to themselves. But the problem that you have with that is that women do not want to satisfy all the desires of a man. Now, women benefit from monogamy. Men do not benefit from monogamy. Remember to like and subscribe, y'all. Women benefit from exclusive access to the man's resources. Men are limited because of monogamy. There are at least 7 days out of the month that women are offline. And then outside of that 7 days, they've got headaches, they don't feel good, they back hurt, they're not in the mood. And a man typically is supposed to have his daily action at least 21 times a month. If a woman is not willing to put that much effort into satisfying her man, then he's gonna be going undone 2, 3 weeks at a time. You have to understand a woman can go 6 months, 9 months, 12 months with no physical contact because women are validated by emotional connection. Men cannot go 6 months without physical connection. Their validation is not going to happen from sitting there talking to you about how good your day was with your work boyfriend, with your work husband. At the end of the day, during that year and a half, there was something in that relationship that you weren't bringing to the table, and he was finding it with that other woman. And then during the time that you was pregnant, when women are the most volatile, the stress relief, which is not the appropriate way to resolve this, but this is what he chose to do, was to go and spend more time with a female that was not flipping out on him on a regular basis. Then after the child, you had what, 6 weeks or more right after the birth where you were offline. And during that time, he got his activity from somebody who was not offline. He never let you down. Yeah, it hurt your feelings, but he's always there for you. He's there for your child. And whatever he was doing, he stopped it without you catching him to force him to stop it. So if you're starting to show up in a relationship now, and he recognized that now he should prioritize his relationship, not at the baby here, go ahead and prioritize the relationship. Now, some women are going to say, oh, I'm an asshole for what I'm saying. But think about this. Think about this real quick before you disagree with what I'm about to tell you. If she would have never gone through his phone, she would have never found out about it. She would not have negative feelings about it. She would not be grossed out about him. He's from Washington State. Michael's from Washington State. Um, and uh, she would not be indifferent. But she did say that if she had the child, that no matter what happens, she will not allow her child to be in a broken home with any negative conflict that would disrupt the child's upbringing. Because that was her dedication to herself. What she just did was commit to the bullshit because it don't matter how many affairs that he has, you will not leave. It doesn't matter if he has a child outside of wedlock. Your child just has a sibling, a half sibling, because you will not leave. As a result, you have dug a very, very toxic grave that not only are you bitter and unhappy about, you are developing the utmost resentment that will lead to unnecessary conflicts in your household that will give your child a poor upbringing because mommy and daddy are fighting over something that happened before you were born. Because she never gonna let that go. The only way that woman will let it go is if she cheat on him twice, and one of those times the second baby is not his. Then she'll understand. But until she get even, she is not gonna let him live this down. Every time he gone too long, she's gonna assume he cheating. Every time he's there too much, she's gonna be disgusted by him. He's gonna be gone more often because the less time he's there, the less she mistreats him, and that's still gonna drive them apart. But if she would have stayed her ass out of his damn phone, there would not have been no issue. So notice that story didn't start with she felt different because he wasn't behaving the way he normally behave, and she started feeling emotional distance from him where it seemed like his heart was somewhere else, and she decided to investigate. No, she just didn't know what she could do with her life, and she just assumed that she was not his desire at the time that she was walking around pregnant. She decided to poke around his phone and see whether or not he's still being loyal, and then all of a sudden she find that he's not. But she dug that hole. She dug that hole. If you don't want to find negativity, don't go looking for it. Your marriage, those 20-year long marriages, those 40-year long marriages, there's infidelity on both sides. One might cheat 5 times, the other might cheat twice. But there's infidelity on both sides in a 20-year marriage. One time might be 3 months, one time might be a one night stand, one time might be 2 years. They had one man that was married to a woman for 10 years, and the first 5 years, he had a girlfriend on the side. He had the girlfriend on the side when they got married. The girlfriend on the side went to the wedding. Fact is, I'm gonna tell y'all this, and y'all not gonna like this, ladies, but there was a man that lived during the occupation back in the day when we were considered property. There was a man that lived to be 130 years old. He had 209 children, 200 children while he was held captive, and 9 children after he was freed. No man can have 209 children in his life with one woman when women are dropping one child every 9 months and 3 months of breastfeeding. That is one child per 12 months. Even the lifespan of a human being, when women actually go through menopause and stop having children safely by the time they reach 40, from as young as 15 years old, which, even though that's not the legal age, from as young as 15 years old, babies having babies, to 35, that's still 20 children. Think about that real quick. One, from the youngest possible age, and it might be younger than that, but I'm not trying to do research to find out how young they can be to procreate. The From the youngest possible age that we understand in our country that babies have babies, whether it's bad decisions or abuse, 15 to 35 is 20 years. That's 20 kids at one child per year. Now to get 209 children, that would be 10 women for 20 years. Actually 11 women for 20 years, where the last woman would have been the last 10 years. Now, that's the maximum quantity of children any man has had in the history of the United States. Now, when you think about that and you think about how women either want no children or a maximum of 2 or 3 children, and you think about how a man who could potentially have 209 kids would now have to have 209 different women if each woman wanted one, 105 women if each woman wanted two. Close to 75 women if each woman wanted three. You understand? So the fact is that when women get mad at a dude because he's got more than one female that he's procreating with, as long as you're exclusive to his resources, she should not be pissed off about that. He like, that's a lot of sex. You did? Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know because we not hitting the jackpot every single time. But Nick Cannon had 5 children 30 days apart in the same year. So he was out there getting that get. Where do I sign up? Bro, 209 kids, bro. I'm behind the times because if I could pull 100 kids in the next 30 years, bro. I'm talking about popping blood vessels and everything. I'm talking aneurysms and everything. Had a mild stroke, a couple seizures, but we gonna get this done. Back hurt. You got to put your hand on the small of your back and try to finish doing what it's. But when ladies get mad about the dude going off and having relations with all these females, but then the women don't understand how that's the same as when she starts establishing more male friends during her relationship with his new guys getting more attention from her than her current man, and then women say, oh, don't be so insecure. Well, I mean, you are satisfied off of emotional validation, so don't be insecure if your man got 5 or 7 women that he sleep with and then he come home to you. Now women are going to say that I am a dirt bag for making that statement, but truth be told, again, go to Dubai. A man can have 10 wives and each one of them women is getting a cut out of his resources, and they all work together to make sure that his resources is enough for the whole family of 11 plus all the kids to have a rich lifestyle. Now, as a woman, I want to ask y'all, real talk, all cheating aside, what is your complaint about having the man when you feel like it and getting the benefits of being his girlfriend or his wife 30 days out of the month, even if you only give him attention 2 days out of the month? What is your complaint about that? Besides the fact that you want to keep your man's resources all to yourself, what is your complaint about that? And I really want women that can chime in, for those women that have high body counts that don't mind playing the field and all of this other stuff. I really want to know, because the truly exclusive woman that saves it till she's married almost is like a dinosaur. It's like a unicorn kind of situation. It's rare to the magnitude where we don't believe it exists anymore. So the women that typically have moderate to high body counts, where you probably have 3 to 5 sexual partners a year or more since you were 15, where your body count at 25 and 30 is like 50 and 80, and your body count at 35 and 40 is like 200 to 2000. And the fact is, what is the difference between you sticking to one man since you was 18 and him sticking to you, versus you being one of 5 or 7 or 10 women where you're getting all of whatever you're looking for out of this man in addition to? I just want to know. Help me understand. Now, not a lot of women are gonna like what I got to say about that, but I just wanted to touch base on that because she made it seem like that was the issue, but it's not really. It's a situation because I would prefer to be monogamous, and I would prefer for my partner to be monogamous because I can't afford to pay for all them extra miles. But let's be real across the board. Let's figure that part out. But let's go to the next one.
I'm 27 and can't even get to a talking stage. What am I doing wrong? I'm 27. Due to certain life reasons, I only started to look for a partner seriously in last 2 years. Have tried multiple dating apps, third-party matchmaking service, an in-person speed dating event. I got nothing out of them. The in-person speed dating event was probably best because I actually got to chat to real-life people, but none of them wanted to further converse with me after the initial round. I can't work out what else to do or what I'm doing wrong, and all it does is internalize self-hatred. That being said, my life isn't bad at all. Got a decent job, work out and stay fit, stay tidy and smart, be a good man to those around me. But maybe it's because I'm short and ugly and don't have what women want. People will tell me to join clubs. Maybe that's what I'll have to do, but will likely end up getting nowhere, like every time.
Well, your depressive behavior is going to be distracting to other people. Your low self-esteem is going to have to be worked on, which means you have to value and love yourself because no matter what you look like, Quasimodo got the girl at the end of the movie. So if his ugly ass can get a girl, you can too. You can't sit over Shrek married a princess. So you can't tell me that because you ugly that you can't get somebody. It's just that the one that you want don't want you. And the most attractive and wealthiest men in the world want certain women that don't want him. No matter how rich he is, no matter how tall he is, no matter how handsome he is, there are certain people that you desire that don't desire you. The most attractive women in the world want certain men that don't want her. So that you can't sit here. What we do as human beings is we let our selfish desires, that's the movies again. But reality in the movies are somewhat the same, Michael. The fact is that we take real world experiences and we throw them into movies and cartoons and anime and other such, and we get a laugh out of it. But real life actually happens the same way. Do you realize that the authors and script writers for every movie and play that exists has taken real world knowledge and thought, this would be a good idea to put into a story to give it some spice, to give it some pizzazz, to make it interesting, to make the drama more dramatic, to make the action more exciting, you know, to make the horror more terrifying. Because the scariest part of a lot of the horror movies is when they're based off of real events. The scariest ones are the ones that are based off of shit that really happened because you can't believe that people will actually behave that way, but they do. And likewise, the way that the ugliest people in the planet they say ugly people make beautiful babies, but how can ugly people make beautiful babies if they don't find nobody? Think about that for a minute. Now, I understand that some people think that I'm going to say you got to lower your standards, but you have to have realistic standards, though. Think about what you need baseline in life. Then think about what you're willing to tolerate in life. And then find you a person that has the most things that you like and the least things that you have to tolerate and go for that person. Mom used to always tell me that if you find a person that meets 80% of your expectations and the other 20% you can deal with, you ain't got to like it, but you can tolerate it. That's good. That's an 8 out of 10. And the other 20% is, I can fuss with that. It's not bad. But see, when you put yourself in a position where she's got to be a 10 out of 10, you're going for some where you're not in the right position in your life yet to meet that person. That's one of those things. Like we as men, we're still building ourselves up. We're not where we want to be at in life. We're looking for the woman that's already where we want to be at in life, but we haven't got there yet. We want that woman, she don't want us. The woman that's where we are right now might not be interested in us neither. Now, the woman that's below where we are, she'll be okay with us, but that's beneath our expectations. As we're continuing to grow, we're not going to stick with this woman unless this woman is willing to grow with us. So, because as single men, we're forever changing, it is harder for us to find the perfect one. We have to find one with potential for improvement, like an old beat up car that we can restore and turn into a supercar. We cannot find one that we have to take as is and treat it like a luxury vehicle. It's not going to work. You have to take one like an old beat up Honda Civic and rebuild it to the supercar that we want. That 5 second track car. And just like that metaphor, when we're finding a woman, we have to find a woman that we can build up to what we want, so that when we get to where we want to be at, the one that we want to be there deserves to be there because she was with us the whole way. We cannot uh, establish that type of dynamic simply by just showing up and saying, "Oh, well, she's okay. I'll take the base model." It don't work that way. It don't work that way. Most men walk onto that dealership floor wanting some shit that they can't afford and accepting whatever the fuck they can afford. Not satisfied with it, always looking for an upgrade. And the moment that they can trade up, they do. And that's where affairs come from. You're not satisfied with what you got, but you settle for less than what you wanted. And as a result, you're still looking for what you wanted, and you're going to find what you want outside of your relationship. And that's where affairs are coming from. But between being neglected in your relationships, you didn't get what you wanted. And women do the same thing. Between being neglected in a relationship, she didn't get what she wanted. And they go looking for it outside the relationship. So, right now, while you don't like yourself, fella, first thing you got to do is you got to change how you feel about yourself. Because when you are proud of who you are, other people will be attracted to that pride. Other people will be attracted to that level of integrity. And then other people will admire you, and then they will hover around you. And when you are a popular person for being a positive person, then more people are going to want to get that vibe from you. And then you're going to start attracting more women because women want to be around men that everybody wants to be around. So if you're woe ways me in a corner, rocking back and forth, ready to take that last mushroom, she ain't going to want to be there. If you did find the right girl, you consider always woe ways men, she don't want to deal with depression. Women do not want that. Women want to be happy. They do not want to stop you from being suicidal. That's not what women want. So while they're willing to be caretakers in some situations, in some magnitude, they're not gonna want to pull you out of whatever slump you're in. And since that's not the generation where women used to be in that mentality in the 50s and 60s, but in 2025, if you don't already have your shit together, you don't already got a plan that you're working towards, she is not gonna stop for you. She is not gonna slow down. She is going to be that alpha boss lady, Fortune 500 women, and your ass gonna be sitting there single. She gonna find a man somewhere, whether it's at her office, in the mail room, on top of the Xerox machine. She gonna find her man somewhere. In traffic, the Uber driver, she gonna find her a man somewhere. But fellas, y'all can't be sitting over here wallowing in your own self pity, talking about some woe ways me. That's not gonna work. Let's check and see what the next one's got going on.
At 30 years old, I'm tired of parenting my GF who's 28 with no sex to even keep me sane. This turned way longer than I expected and still left a lot out. Been together with my GF for a bit over 4 years now and we're honestly really good on paper. Like two best friends, no pointless arguments or jealousy, we share values and future plans, and generally great match personality-wise. After we moved together somewhere in our second year, her mental state depression, ADHD, autism, sex drive and difference in relationship priorities have clearly shifted, and are getting too much for me. I think I have some kind of emotional fatigue now from working on our relationship and also starting to feel less attracted to her. Being on the spectrum makes her really prone to emotional outbursts over small unconventional things, like lights being too bright or clothes feeling weird on her skin. She turns irritable and dismissive, and it's honestly safer for me to just shut up, not get involved and let her cool down. It's draining to always watch out for, especially when we're enjoying an otherwise nice moment. Once I surprised her with tickets to see a band she likes, not really my favorite but in good boyfriend spirit I went with. But she got triggered, and was pouting through the whole gig until we eventually left early. Her sulking instantly sours any situation for me, and I often wish.
Hold up. Cause Michael said head case. I gotta get on this real quick before we get going. Cause this the one that I said one of these guys was gonna be talking for like 6 minutes. I gotta dive in here real quick because I'm gonna forget some of this shit. Okay, so look, you picked this chick, you knew that she had some issues that you would not be able to manage, but you thought that she was attractive and good in bed, so you decided to get involved with this chick. Now that she not putting out no more, now you mad. You got to understand, people with depression have mood swings where their sex drive depreciates. People who take a medication for everything under the sun, including ADHD, that medication affects their sex drive. That medication affects their mood. When you're dealing with people with anxiety and all this other shit, you got to deal with the fact that you're gonna end up being celibate for a long period of time. You're gonna be a monk for a long period of time until they come out of that funk. And because that has been their whole life's behavior, they're not going to feel the need to reciprocate when they do come out of that funk. They're not going to make you feel better about the fact that you didn't give up on them. They're just going to exist because they're no longer in the funk. They're no longer sad and depressed. They're used to you being around, so you're going to be there when they feel like shit, and you're going to be there when they're not feeling like shit. So they don't show you that they appreciate the fact that you're there when they're in the funk, but they're not gonna, you know, do anything extra when they're no longer out of that funk. Rickshaw says she a keeper. Nah, bro. Nah, bro. See, you went to that concert. I don't go places that I don't want to go talking about something for the sake of her. Fuck that shit. I used to do that when I was a kid. I'm a grown ass man now. I go where I want to go and you can come too, or I will send you where you want to go. And if I ain't got nothing else to do, I'll come with you. But goddamn it, if I'm going somewhere, I'll be damned if we leaving early because your mood swings got you sitting over there sobbing in the corner somewhere. I will put a blanket over your head and put you next to the speakers, and I'm gonna enjoy my night. And when the club is done, I'm gonna take you back to the car and bring you on back to the house. I treat you like an owl in the bird cage. And I just put you off in the car. You're not about to ruin my night. And ladies, if y'all got a man that woe-ways me like the person right before this, that you do the same thing. Don't let nobody stop you from enjoying your life. So if you went with him to some bullshit that you thought would make him happy, and he's sitting over here wallowing in his own misery, let him sit there and wallow in his misery, and you go have you a good ass fashion time because you went out there to have fun with him. Now he ain't having fun with you. Fuck him. Go have fun. So Stella, you took this female somewhere to go have a good time, and she is not having a good time. You have a good time. You in a room full of a bunch of people. There's enough people in this room where you can have fun with somebody else in the room. It don't even got to be a female. You can find two or three other dudes and y'all can bump elbows like a mosh pit and y'all can have a good old fashioned time. And then when the time is done, you got your money's worth. Because I'll be a motherfucker if I'm going to sit here and waste money to make you happy and I'm not happy neither. Bullshit. He fucking up already. You see, yesterday when we was talking about this negative attitudes and stuff, yesterday, the day before yesterday, the day before that, this is the type of stuff that happens, psychological and emotional abuse that leads you to become codependent upon one another, which leads both parties to be miserable. So one person who's not happy is going to deliberately cause the other person to not be happy. If she knew that she is currently over the last 2, 3, 4 weeks not in the mood for that kind of shit, she should have told him before he bought them tickets, don't buy them tickets because I am not going to be capable of functioning the way you want me to function in that activity. She grown. She know what her ADHD and PTSD and bipolar disorder and all this other stuff do to her. She grown. And as a result, she know that this might be the time of the year where I am not pleasant to be around. So I'm okay if you don't want to be around with me until like October. Like just be legit. You feel me? If I don't want to be fucked with, I tell people don't talk to me until my day off. Now I'm gonna force myself to interact with you on my day off because I said don't talk to me until my day off. So 6 days out of the week, don't fuck with me. Michael said, I'm not going out with her. You told me she was normal. All right, let's see what else he got going on. Because, see, he done dug his own grave over here trying to be a fixer. I'm not saying that people who got mental illnesses don't deserve happiness. They do. But at the same time, you, as a person without the mental illness, have to make a conscious choice that when you are selecting a person with a mental illness, that you are going to have heightened levels of responsibility and heightened levels of patience. And if you do not believe that you are capable of supporting somebody who is psychologically or emotionally damaged, you should not get yourself involved in that in the beginning. But once you put yourself in that relationship, You need to man up and stay in that some bitch. Get you some therapy. Get her some therapy. Figure something out. Get you a support group. Go to an AA meeting. You don't have to be an AA person. You can go to an AA meeting because they know what it's like to struggle, and you struggling right now. And figure that shit out. Because once you dedicate yourself to a person, whether they broken or not, you dedicated to that person and you need to figure that shit out. You shouldn't be sitting over here, "Oh, I want to bail out now because it's too much for me." You can't bail out of the fucking mortgage once you fucking sign that contract. You can't bail out of the car note once you sign that contract. You got to keep doing it until they take it from you or you give it back. One way or the this ain't gonna work out. And at least with the dealership, you can give it back because when you buy the house, you can't get that some bitch back. The previous owner is gone. So you stuck with this the same way you stuck with her. So bro, figure it out. Figure it out. Start being an online gamer. You spend more time on your GTA 6 than what you're gonna spend in this relationship with her.
I'd be there just by myself, even after she cools down and sometimes apologizes. In addition to being
Okay.
her emotional support, which is normal in relationships, yes, to a degree, I also take care of our daily life, as she doesn't know how to shop or cook, only buys microwave meals or sandwiches to survive. When I'm away from home, she might skip entire meals or eat only snacks because there's nothing in the fridge. Not really my problem but means I never arrive home to a stocked fridge. Dismisses messy home until it basically triggers her sensory overload. I honestly don't care if her room is a mess. But cups and trash might stay on counters for days. Laundry has hung for weeks when I didn't fold them. Keeps losing stuff in our home and can get snappish out of frustration towards me too, until I usually locate the lost thing. Forgets to eat and drink, ADHD focus thing, leading to dizziness and headaches, and then turning hangry or bedridden. I literally have to
He bitching about everything, bruh. You sound like a female that is unsatisfied with her man and she ready to leave him for another man. Like what the hell? Like y'all hear what I'm listening to right now? Do y'all understand that these types of things that he's complaining about right now is the shit that you would have seen inside of the first 2 weeks of the relationship? This is the kind of stuff that you would have seen before you asked her to move in with you. You would have seen this inside of the first 2, 3 months. You telling me you'd have been with her for a long ass time and now you tired of it? Now you tired of it? What make y'all think, ladies and gentlemen? What make y'all think that when y'all marry somebody that they're going to fucking change? I keep telling y'all that you cannot marry somebody like putting a moonstone on a Pikachu and they evolve into a Raichu. It's not going to happen. You are not going to change a girlfriend into a wife. She has to be wife material when you marry her. She has to be what you're looking for in a wife when you marry her because all you're doing is signing a contract with the US government to get tax credits on your spouse. That is all you're doing. And it ain't even tax credits in your favor. Because if she's a dependent, you got more deductions. But the fact is that you only get 150% when you file joint. It don't benefit you to marry her, and it don't benefit her to marry you. You understand? The sole problem that we have with this dynamic is that he got a chick that he thought was easy. He got a chick that did nobody else want to deal with. And he thought that this was going to be a alright because when he did not have to manage this shit, these pet peeves, he ignored them. These were red flags that showed up out the gate. And he ignored them because he was having a good old fashioned time. Now that that good old fashioned time is not there no more, now he bitching. You know that the first thing he said at the top of the conversation was that he ain't having sex no more. That's your main problem. You ain't getting wet no more, and you mad about it. I'm sitting over here looking at him like he need to go sit down somewhere. Stop being the baby about this. Be a grown ass man and take care of your room. Michael says send her to therapy and in the meantime run. Drop her off at an institution and dip out on her. Remember to like and subscribe. The assignment due tomorrow is your life better today than last year. Well, I appreciate you. Oh, yeah, we did set that assignment up earlier this weekend. Y'all need to really think about some of the things that uh uh y'all set up for yourselves last year. What did y'all used to do last year that y'all stopped doing and made your life better? What were you not doing last year that you started doing to make your life better? And what do you plan on doing this year to make your life better for next year? And what will you stop doing this year to make your life better for next year so that you can start planning for your future? Because your 20-year plan starts with day one, planning out your first week, planning out your first month, planning out your first 6 months. You want to get through your first 6 months, start planning out your first year, your first 5 years, setting milestones, small accomplishments that lead to big accomplishments so that your 10 year can become your 20 year. Because if you don't have the ability to analyze your success rate, you end up giving up on yourself. Think about all of the New Year's resolutions that you've ever set for yourself that did not last to the end of the year because you did not have the motivation, you did not have the effort, and you could not track your success. And then you found yourself preoccupied, probably with financial strife or relationship problems, which distracted you from your free time to take care of the things that you said that you want to take care of in your life. So rearrange your mentality to focus on the things that you want to do to be successful, and then keep track of that, and then see how much of it have you done in the past 6 months. Because we are in month 8 out of 12. We got 4 months left. And in the last 4 months, you should be finishing up whatever you started doing this year and starting to do what you need to be focused on for next year. So think about that. Appreciate Michael for reminding us about that. Now let's go ahead and keep going on with what this gentleman got to say.
Remind her to eat for the sake of my own nerves. Has mood swings from wanting to be completely isolated from me to crying from loneliness if I'm away spending time with friends. It makes me feel bad and has led to me neglecting my other social relationships. Is almost always running late and also snappish because of it, so I have to schedule her cabs, drive her myself, or watch her raging again. Often feels sick or sad, so I try to comfort her, listen to her worries, bring her nice meals, or ask if I can do something to make her feel better. Whereas if I'm sick or exhausted, she asks, "Oh, are you not feeling well? I'll leave you alone then," and leaves the house for several hours.
All right, nah, that's how she treats you. That's how you need to treat her. She ain't feeling well. You go ahead and leave up in the house by damn self, and you go ahead and go enjoy yourself, and then you come back and you feel refreshed. That way you ain't got to deal with it because all you've been doing is just complaining about the fact that you ain't getting no loving, and you mad about that. Why are you mad about that? Damn, I'm a dude, and I'm still saying, bro, you knew what you was getting yourself into. This is ridiculous.
Might bring me like a glass of water, but other than that, doesn't really seem to bother or care. Cannot handle criticism or feeling below someone at all. A few times I've tried to calmly talk about splitting our chores a bit more evenly, but I'm usually first met with something like, "Fuck you, I do just as much as you around here, I guess you just don't see it." But yeah, I guess I am a big fucking baby and a lazy piece of shit if you say so. Okay, sure. Or her praising my
Damn.
efforts to high heavens in a mocking tone.
So that is the narcissistic tones that we told you about Thursday and Friday, and especially Saturday, about the red flags that happen in relationships when partners manipulate you into breaking down into exactly this. Now, I was not expecting it to be like this. I just thought that he was just complaining about him not getting laid, but you kind of sound like you're in an abusive relationship, bro, man. And though you a whiny little dude for sitting over here complaining about the girl that you signed up for as far as not getting laid and all of her mental issues, it is not just all of her mental issues. It's the fact that you are in an emotionally abusive relationship and you chose to get into it and you chose to stay into it once you recognized that you wasn't happy and you have not put any effort into fixing it and you're not trying to get out of it. You clearly understand that she don't care about how you feel after you've made it clear to her that you're not happy in a relationship. And if she's not going to change for your betterment, you're not going to stay with her because she's disabled. You're going to stay with her because you're used to this type of toxicity from your lifestyle, and you're going to allow yourself to be psychologically and emotionally abused. But venting on my podcast don't help you fix your problem. Your problem is that she don't respect you, regardless of whether or not she love you. She don't respect you, and you say that she don't respect herself, and she can't respect you if she can't respect herself. You can get her therapy to get her help, but you need to get you therapy and get you help. And if you get enough help from your therapist, you might find out that you're gonna grow the same courage that Tina Turner grew with Ike Turner, and you might leave for the sake of your own sanity. The women need to think about listen to this, ladies, because if you are going through the same situation this dude is going through, because women don't just do this to men, men do this to women. If you're going through the same stuff that this dude is going through, you need to reevaluate your situation and start considering abandoning ship.
or apologizing in this cold, overly dramatic and sarcastic voice. She does genuinely apologize after she notices how bad her words make me feel. But man, the damage is already done. I have talked to her about these issues, saying if we keep going like this, I will burn myself out and be unhappy. Her reply usually being, okay, so stop doing things, I can take care of myself too. Well, she wasn't wrong. After one exhaustion crash out, I just could not do the usual tasks. So, she went full roommate, got herself something to eat, stayed in her room all day, and didn't even check on me. Just kept busy because she can't have time to take care of all my needs. I rarely ask for anything, and even less often feel so out of it that I can't do something myself. It was so depressing how unimportant I felt in my already bad state. It really fucking pains me to think and write about these things, because she is also incredibly smart, sweet, and lovable. We get
Where?
along so well, always have
No, you
fun
don't.
together, and have such a
Lie.
genuine connection. But the emotional lows, her carefree lifestyle and general me-first attitude in our relationship are really starting to tip the scales for me in the long run. After
I like
starting
90% of what you're
therapy,
talking
I
about.
now realize I'm part of this problem. I am the one enabling her and allowing these things to happen because of my
Thank you.
strong sense of empathy. This makes me bad with boundaries and confrontations, which
There we
I am
go.
now trying to fix. Sex
Okay.
life, of course, sucks too. After the
Uh-huh.
first 2 years, her interest and enthusiasm have been in steady decline. Her libido is clearly lower than mine, so I know she might feel a bit of pressure, but I try to be patient with her.
Okay, now you understand that he bitching about this girl after being with her for over 2 years. Over 2 years. This isn't the kind of shit that you find in the first 2 months and complain about. This is the kind of you knew that she had differences than what you had the first few weeks. So why you 2 years in and now you complaining? That's like buying a brand new car and then bitching about the chip paint 2 years after you. What's wrong with you, bro? Like you gonna get it, and then after the warranty, complain about it when you can't take in the warranty no more. Like you should have walked away from that before you got super invested. Now you pissed off trying to figure out how do I fix this. You can't, bruh. You can't. You just gotta deal with it. You
Instead,
don't
I
fix it.
offer her different forms of intimacy. Hugs, cuddles, massages, brushing her hair, etc. But besides kisses and hugs, she never initiates or surprises me with anything. Oddly enough, she does suggest fun stuff just for me but then never follows up or has simply lost interest in them when I ask later. Sooner or later I get so pent up that I have to ask her for anything but usually still get the maybe tomorrow. She says she wants the long game, me planning proper dates, building tension, and trying to get her into the mood if I want some action, where I usually still have to do everything. So,
Mm,
on top of everything else, I should also labor for our sexual health. Not
nope.
her, not us, but apparently
Mm-mm.
me because I'm the one who needs it. This is what
Yep.
finally broke me. I can't carry this cross too. When we do occasionally happen to have sex like once a month, I don't feel desired or wanted at all, more just dealt with. I'm losing feelings and desire so hard here. I don't even care if she walks around in underwear anymore or shows cleavage because I know nothing will happen. I still love her
Wow.
and care about her deeply, but it's clearly more and more turning into a convenient roommate situation for me. She's very much still in love with me, talking about house, kids, the whole 9 yards. But any more
Woo.
commitment and I'm just practically giving up my own life. I understand this whole post is a one-sided conversation, but I really can't shake the feeling I would be actually cherished by someone else. Because right now, I feel like a stereotype housewife who doesn't even get fucked. Might be my
Yep.
sexual frustration and stressed out brain speaking, but I almost fantasize about someone sitting me down for once and saying, "You have done enough here, now grab a beer, shut up and relax." How on earth do I explain this all to her? That I am so tired of her emotional/mental problems, taking care of us so damn much, and feeling both undesired and no desire myself? I might as well live alone at this point and hang out with her as friends because my romantical feelings are so withered at this point. I really want to focus on myself again, mend my social relationships, and fulfill my own dreams, but I also fear I'm thinking with my dick here. I'm utterly terrified to tell her because I know how in love she is, but also how
Mm.
defensive she might get or turn it against me, making me question am I actually the problem. Breaking up also sounds like a huge logistical nightmare to my already burnt-out brain.
All right, so uh, just to go back a little ways, yeah, you are thinking with your dick. Um, yeah, you are in that housewife position. Um, yeah, you are in a toxic relationship. And yeah, you do need to shut up, go sit down and grab you a beer. You've done enough. You're in the kind of relationship, bro. She's talking about marriage and children. You are catering to her every whim, and she's allowing you to do that. And then when you don't do it no more, she can get up and do for herself. So that means all the rest of the time, when you are capable of doing for her, she's just letting you do that because that's what you want to do. You know. Now, if you put children into the fold on that, you're going to be taking care of her and the kids. Her attitude is going to be multiplied by each child in the house that develops her mental state. You got to ask yourself, what do you really want to have for your future? Because if this that you complaining about for the last 15 minutes is just you and her, could you imagine her behavior and one or two kids that behave the same damn way? And now you got to drop them off at school. They having problems in the school. You got to homeschool them at the house. The tutors is complaining, and the wife is being ridiculous. You got to keep the house clean for the caseworkers to come over and all this other stuff. You got too much stuff going on, bro. You're putting yourself in a compromising position that you don't need to be in. Now, you said the best advice for yourself right at the end of this. Y'all need to step back away from this relationship for a little bit. Y'all don't necessarily have to break up, but y'all can separate a little bit, live in separate houses for a little while, get you your own apartment, let her take her ass to work, and y'all just kind of like hang out and like backstep this situation a little bit because y'all have been around each other for 2 years. She done got comfortable with your presence, but she is not reciprocating. She needs to start relearning self sufficiency before she starts talking about getting married with you and having a lifelong relationship that where you are the caretaker of 90% of life plus your own personal life. That's too much for any one person. I wouldn't wish that on a female. So definitely as a dude, bro, you volunteer for too many things. You need to rethink your position. That is not healthy for anybody to be in. And I am all for making relationships work. And I did say earlier, you put yourself in this relationship for 2 years, make it work, figure it out. But you need a vacation away from her. So, 2, 3 weeks, a month, you ain't got to cheat on her, but you got to get away from her. Revisit yourself, replenish yourself, and then come back and see if you guys can work out some dynamics where you setting down some non-negotiable expectations for behavior so that she can respect you and your position, your autonomy. Because if you recognize that after you've rejuvenated yourself and you come back to this relationship that she's not willing to respect you, bro, you got to move on. Because I would tell women the same thing that you ain't got to lead a dude and go sleep around, but you take a break and recover and then walk back into this relationship with like some terms and conditions of fairness. And if you can't get that, you got to walk. Now I think we got one more. Let's go ahead and see what this one's about.
What's a small behavior on a date that reveals a lot about a person? Sometimes it's the little things, how someone treats staff, how they listen, or even what they joke about that say more than the big stuff. What small behaviors on a date give away the most about who a person really is?
Well, you're all right about that. Certain things like if you go out on a date and they order too many drinks, you know that they're an alcoholic. If they have to remove themselves from the occasion to go smoke, you know that they smoke a lot. There are things that the things that they talk about spending their money on let you know that they're wasteful. the lack of ambition, the lack of goals. When you ask them about decision making, they don't know. They don't have uh, set future plans. They don't have drive. They claim that they don't have nothing going for them right now. They might be living in their house with their family members. They could be recovering from some. One of the other things, because recovering from a bad breakup, you also find when you have those conversations a ton of red flags, because when you're talking to somebody and they're blaming the entire breakup on the other person instead of taking responsibility for the faults that they participated in the relationship, that lets you know that there's a lot of toxicity there, because when you get into the relationship, you will become the next villain. So there's a lot of red flags that you can find that are very subtle, because when you think, the older that person is, the more relationships they've been in. So the first question you have to ask is, how did you make it to this age and you still ain't got nobody? When was your last failure? What happened there? Those open-ended questions, how many baby daddies do you got? Those open-ended questions. Why those men aren't still in your life? Those open-ended questions let you know where failure is going to be present, foreshadowing the future, reliving the past. So there's a lot of things that can happen in a relationship, or there's a lot of things that can be said and done in a dating platform that can be recognized as, oh, that's a problem. Here's another thing real quick, is that if you guys go out on a date and you are identified as a couple, if she allows that to happen and takes a compliment, then that lets you know that she's acceptive of the relationship. If she immediately rejects the idea of being your partner, being mistaken as your partner, then she clearly don't want your ass. Because if she did not mind, if they call y'all a cute couple, and, oh, we just met, this is our first engagement or whatever, oh, we're not together, we're just out on a date, then she is clearly establishing the fact that she don't want your ass. Because if she wanted you, every time somebody recognizes that y'all are an item, she would take pride in that. Think about that. So she would not immediately stop that scenario. So you could see that even in a long-term relationship. If you've been talking to this girl for a while, whether y'all call yourself dating or not, y'all could be in a situationship or whatever, and she brings you around people that she know, don't introduce yourself. Hi, how you doing? Shake their hand. Pleasure to meet you. Let her introduce you to them. How she identifies you, that's where y'all stand. If she tell her friends and her family members that just what your name is, like this ain't your boyfriend or nothing like that, you already know you're not a boyfriend. Because if you were her boyfriend and she was proud of that, she would tell them, this is my boyfriend, this is my husband, this is my fiance. That is your title. Proud of that. And his name is, so that people recognize where you stand with her. But if they, we just talking, we cool, we friends, we hang out, then y'all ain't shit. Which means that you should not be there. Soon as she doesn't acknowledge your status as her significant other, you need to walk away from that situation. Because another reason why she behaves that way is because you might not be the only option. She's just trying to feel you out to see exactly what she can get out of the situation. And if she can't get what she wants out of the situation, she's going to move on to the next one. So really think about that the next time that you're hanging out with another person. And ladies, men do all the exact same stuff. So y'all can use that information as well. Now, I want to thank y'all for coming to tonight's show. Ladies, as long as the situation doesn't make sense, I'm going to keep asking you to make it make sense. So, ladies, please make it make sense. And, fellas, I give you guys this information to help you guys become higher value men. So I want you guys to utilize this information to help y'all improve your financial life as well as your social life. This is a male driven podcast from the male's perspective. So a lot of the information is going to come from a male's perspective, but I'm from uniformity. So when you flip the script and change the roles, my expectations are still the same. Ladies, y'all can take all the information that I give to the fellas and utilize it to make yourselves higher value women, because this is not gender exclusive information. This is the information that helps people socialize and interact with one another. Y'all can make yourselves higher value women just as well. Probably better off than men, because y'all aren't distracted by sex. So I encourage y'all to find a way to change the things that you don't like about your life so that you can improve your personal life. That way you can focus more on improving your financial life. so that you can improve the lifestyle that you have to get you the type of person that you want to have in your life so that you can spend the rest of your life happy. That's the end goal. Now, everybody who didn't have a 20-year plan after you came to tonight's show, make sure you like and subscribe and start trying to build your 20-year plan. And then we're going to be, he said, good night, my favorite internet stepfather. You're welcome, Rickshaw. I appreciate you coming to tonight's show. And make sure that y'all stay tuned tomorrow night because we're going to be talking about the Trump account. And then Tuesday, we're going to be talking about our dividend rotation for September. Yeah. So I want to thank you guys for coming to tonight's show. Thank you for coming to This and That. I'm your host, Xander. Special shout out to those of you that's watching us on Twitch and Twitter. And I think I already said that. I'm your host, Xander. Thank you for coming to This and That, where we talk about this, that, and everything in between. And I will see you guys tomorrow night. Oh, got to push.
Chase validation, now I validate myself. Building inner strength, putting doubt upon the shelf. No more unnecessary drama, no more wasted time. Climbing higher, constantly making my own climb. My network is my net worth. Choose your company wise. Surround yourself with eagles, not with sheep in disguise. Every interaction is a reflection of my brand. Quality over quantity, that's my personal command. Living, I'm manifesting my vision, cutting through limitations with surgical precision. My expectations are my compass, my respect is my shield to mediocrity and chaos. I will never yield.